Hey everyone, welcome to GGN. It's Monday, November 4th, 2013. My website is Global Government News, ggnonline.net, and on YouTube, DDarko2012 and DDarko2013. Alright, we left off here. Last year, President Obama reportedly told his aides that he's really good at killing people in drone strikes. That's after they lied to the Pakistanis over a peace talk by basically killing 25 people with drone strikes. The U.S. promises to consult with Israel on any Iran deal. Under Secretary of State Wendy Sherman says latest round of talks are serious and substantive. I guess that's what you say, for the first time. So I don't know if this is actually going to happen or if this is disinfo, but so U.S. will inform and consult with Israel about any nuclear deal world powers arrive at with Iran before it's carried out, because the Jewish state's security is paramount, under Secretary of State for Political Affairs Wendy Sherman said in an interview on Sunday. I'm going on a limb here saying her name's Sherman. She's probably just being a good little Zionist. So whatever agreement we reach, Israel will know about it, understand, and consult with us on it, because Israel's security is bedrock, and there is no closer security relationship than we have with each other. So you see a lot of, it was a little sketchy, the relationship between Israel. At least it was on the surface. Maybe that's how we were supposed to perceive it. What was going on with the relationship between Israel and the United States. And so you had that, right? Then in Iraq, remember al-Maliki was saying he wants some guns and some weapons and some support against these against the terrorists or whatever in Iraq. In reversal, Obama says he will boost U.S. military support in Iraq. So either it is just bad and it's because of spillover from Syria that's being caused by their Saudi partners, or this is being done on purpose to create a demand for the U.S. to go, yeah, we'll help you, sure, buddy. The new U.S. plan represents a remarkable shift for Obama, whose administration trumpeted the 2011 withdrawal of the last U.S. troops from Iraq as a major achievement, and says here that they'll be increasing U.S. military support for Baghdad after 5 years of reducing it. U.S. and Egypt tried to put brave face on strained ties. Also, they cut aid, I guess. United States and Egypt tried Sunday to put on a brave face on their badly frayed ties and committed to restoring a partnership undermined by the military ouster, Egypt's first democratically elected president. They say the department refused to confirm Kerry's brief visit until he landed in Cairo. Secrecy was unprecedented for a Secretary of State's travel to Egypt, for decades one of the closest U.S. allies in the Arab world, and highlighted the deep rifts that have emerged. Kerry traveling to Riyadh to soothe Saudi-U.S. tensions said they'll launch a 9-day trip, or Kerry will launch a 9-day trip by traveling to Riyadh for talks on Sunday with King Abdullah amid tensions with the Gulf Kingdom. They'll reaffirm the strategic nature of U.S.-Saudi relationship, given the importance of the work between our two countries and shared challenges. They'll try to ease strains with them over Syria and Iran. His trip from the 3rd to the 11th will also take him to Poland, probably has to do with missile shields aimed at Russia, Palestine, which probably has to do with Israel's announcement of almost 2,000 more settlement homes, and a new oil reservoir holding 3.5 barrels was discovered. It says here beneath the 1948 armistice line that formerly divides Israel and Palestine. So Israel to drill for oil in the West Bank, to Jordan to deal with the refugees and to give them some cash or whatever, some credit. Algeria and Morocco. Those, like I said before, just keep an eye on those places, along with Tunisia and North Africa, for destabilization campaigns. It says here the CIA and Israeli intelligence have trained substitutes for the Syrian military after the government falls. That's if they fall. But a senior commander for the Free Syrian Army says Israeli intelligence has been helping Syrian military defectors to be trained in order to hold posts in the Syrian military after the government falls. The colonel revealed on his Twitter page. So he added that based on the American plan, this group, which included 60 colonels, is supposed to replace Syrian military officers once the government in Syria is overthrown. It says here that this one of these guys, this defector and this colonel, graduated from the Jordan University with the help of Israeli intelligence services. So he was an Air Force engineer, defected in 2011. He says there's a second group of 180 officers that will soon be graduated. He also revealed British security agencies want to establish an assembly under the title of National Security Organization to appoint police chiefs in regions controlled by the FSA. So a little disclaimer here again. I don't know if this is true. This could just be, again, some kind of disinformation. They like linking Iran with Syria as far as operations, and Hezbollah, Lebanese and Hezbollah helping out in Syria. But they're saying a report is Iranian military commander has been killed in Syria. Last year, the Guard's chief commander, General Mohammed Ali Jafari, said only high-level advisors were in Syria. So this Jamali was killed by terrorists a few days ago, didn't provide details. I did cover recently about Iranian guards, Revolutionary Guard Corps guys being killed in clashes with Kurds and at the border. Usually never any mention of this in the mainstream media. Biggest massacre of Christians in Syria reported as population continues to be targeted by these terrorists. 2 new mass graves containing over 30 bodies in the Christian city of Sadat were recently discovered, evidence of what one archbishop called the most serious and biggest massacre of Christians in Syria. He said the situation for them has been horrific. It seems to only be getting worse as time passes. Indeed, for many Christians around the world, their faith puts them in the line of fire. Some 45 Christian civilians, including women and children, were killed by Islamist rebels in Sadat, halfway between Homs and Damascus. Then you're going to have the UN warning of a humanitarian situation in Syria. They estimate that there's about 9 million people in need of humanitarian assistance. And to the Syrians who are in dire need of help, 6.5 million people are displaced from their homes within the country. So this kind of aggravates me because I know these people don't really give a shit about the Syrian people. If they did, they would have stopped these terrorists from going in there and supported Assad's government. They didn't. In fact, I don't even know if they want him to. I don't even know if they really want regime change, but either way, they want refugees. So you have UNICEF, they're calling for further international investment in public services such as re-education camps for the Syrian refugee children so they could be brainwashed about how their country and their government caused all this. An interesting comment here, UN hypocrisy is getting on my nerves. Having colorful multicultural boards with Ban Ki-moon and Valerie Amos doesn't make it any better. Every day another warning of hunger, polio, winter. Everybody knows that. The UN should provide help or put pressure on the USA and Saudis to stop funding terrorists and terror wars. Syria's Deputy Foreign Ministry says here the government's doing the best that they can to deliver humanitarian aid to every citizen that needs it in light of the current crisis. He noted that before the crisis, Syria was a pioneer in the region in terms of health services, social care, food, clean water, and all that is related to the life of the Syrian people and that preserves their dignity. So he said that they're going to give them directions, the UN, the Arab Red Crescent Organization, the International Red Cross, and all humanitarian NGOs to the trapped civilians, especially in hotspots. So, and yeah, those are places where the civilians are being held, siege, whatever, trapped, basically trapped in their town without any supplies or anything, medical supplies, food, water. He said the government had not prevented the humanitarian aid from reaching parts of Syria. He affirmed that humanitarian organizations have informed it that gunmen in certain areas have seized and robbed humanitarian aid convoys loaded with medicine that were headed to trap civilians in the areas of Aleppo. This is pretty interesting what he said. He pointed out the primary problem that's hindering the delivery of aid is the targeting of aid convoys by the terrorist groups. Many have been seized by the terrorists and distributed among armed groups without eliciting a single protest or comment from those who claim to call for delivering humanitarian relief to those who need it. He added that the lack of comments on the terrorist prevention of delivering aid to the citizens shows the nature of international hypocrisy and the lack of objectivity in dealing with such issues when it comes to the infringements of armed groups in the field of humanitarian work and the crimes against their citizens. So he says here, food's becoming a target of terrorist attacks. They're destroying hospitals, schools, factories that provide food and medicine to the people, in addition destroying electric power stations, stealing drinking water and grain silos, attacking roads and railways, and depriving citizens of basic services. Turkey seized massive chemical weapons at the Syrian border. A large quantity of chemicals from the convoy trying to illegally enter the country from Syria, which could be transformed into weapons, the army said. There was a convoy of 3 vehicles that refused to stop as it attempted to illegally cross the border on Saturday near southeastern Turkey. So this isn't the first time that the rebels or the terrorists have been caught on the Turkish border or other areas in Syria and checkpoints and stuff. But it says here that Syria's entire declared stock of chemical weapons has been placed under seal, including 1,000 tons of chemical agents and 290 tons of chemical weapons. But you don't see any outcry about the terrorists or anything declaring their chemical weapons. Terrorism in Syria may spread to Europe, says Iran. It already has. And European countries have already been, quote, concerned about that. What exists in Syria now is organized terrorism, and if terrorism isn't squashed in the country, the issue will spill over to regional countries and even to Europe. 3 killed in Norway bus hijacking from today. A man wielding a knife hijacked a bus in western Norway and killed 3 people on board. He was in his 50s and of foreign origin. He's been arrested. The victims were 1 woman and 2 men, including the bus driver. So that's all I have for you. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.